A little late, excuse us. Okay, so let's call this meeting to order with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Can we go through attendance, please?
Mrs. Giblin.
Here.
Mr. Moran.
Here.
Mrs. Martin.
Here.
Mr. Maxwell.
Here.
Mr. Rowe.
Here.
Mrs. Cornell.
Here. All right, flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a short president's statement tonight. I just want to wish all of our staff, teachers, administration, everyone who supports this building on a day-to-day basis, a very happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays. I hope they take some time for some rest and relaxation and fun with their families. So just please convey my thanks to them for all they do during the school year and let them know that I hope they enjoy their break tremendously.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So with that, I'll open it up to comments on any agenda items. All right. Let's go through the liaison reports. Buildings and grounds.
So we met a couple of weeks ago. I think projects are moving, forward. For the most part, the elevator seems to be the one that kind of gets stuck, for lack of a better word. But I think we're, Dr. Balba continues to push to try to figure out how we can resolve that issue. And again, all the paperwork behind the HVAC stuff. So I think we're in good shape. The next thing to do is start focusing on the long-range plan again as we get ready for the budget next year. So I think next month we can start kicking that off and then hand it off to the new board and the new board liaisons in January, kind of with a start at least.
Okay. Any questions for buildings and grounds? All right, curriculum and instruction.
Okay. Mr. Maxwell and I met with Mrs. Sweeney and Mr. Russo last week. A couple of topics we discussed are the professional development workshops. Kate Sullivan's going to be coming and doing them with 4 dates to after school to a full day in services on February 16th and 22nd. Report card timelines and trimester 12-2. This will be in Genesis. That will be released on December 5th. There's a bunch of field trips that will be on the agenda tonight. Outsiders in New York, PTA mini grants. Let's see, PTA sponsors will pick them up with medieval times, walking toward a holiday train set, and you'll see those on the agenda. Winter enrichment, I have to say I'm so impressed by Mrs. Sweeney's work on the winter enrichment catalog. They are excited to offer after-school activities January 26th through March 27th. Sponsored by the PTA Monday through Thursday. Just a little glimpse into what they're going to be offering: a chess club, mini playhouse, which is like plays and sock puppets, wood shop, crafts, entrepreneur club, Lego club. Just so many different after-school events for our kids, and it's mixed grades, which I think is really cool, so that the younger grades get to mix with some of the older kids. And it's been a great creative outlet for the teachers to be able to sponsor and put their hands and fingerprints in some of these workshops, gives them, like I said, a creative outlet. And then NJSLA field test update. It's new for every district in the state, emphasize low stress to students, kids and teachers know what it'll look like in the spring, and they have a dashboard and they know what to expect now. I think that's it. Mr. Maxwell, anything else you would add to it?
No, that's pretty thorough.
Okay.
All right. Finance.
So met a while ago in this month. Again, I think it was mostly for basic stuff, and I could have done this in buildings and ground, but I'm covering it in finance. For the 24-25 budget, we talked about the big project of the HVAC and upgrading that. When we budgeted that a year and a half ago, we had an expense or an expected cost with, again, influence from or advice from the architects of over $2.8 million. We were awarded a grant over $1.1 million from the state with a net cost to us about $1.7 million. Now that the project's done, Our total cost was under $1.8 million, so a betterment by over $1 million. The grant will be about $700,000, so our net cost will be about $1.07 million, which is about $600,000 of lower cost to the district. So all good stuff there. Other than that, I think it was pretty much a basic meeting of a lot of approvals, and again, focusing on the audit as we're getting towards year end. June 30th is our school year end as well as our budgetary and financial year end. We usually get our annual review of the budget in December, worst case January, but we'll look forward to having that resolved. Anything else?
No, I mean, always good to come in under budget.
Yes, a substantial amount.
All right. Personnel, Mrs. Martin.
Okay, we met last week, and there's a couple of items that we discussed that are on the agenda for approval tonight. First, appreciative to everybody who was involved in finding a guidance counselor to hire to replace Mrs. Mason who left. So we've identified a part-time guidance counselor. Second, regretfully, accepting officially and formally Dr. LaValva's resignation as superintendent. So that's very regretful. I don't know if we're going to accept that, Dr. LaValva. It's on the agenda as superintendent. And the other motion for approval is, as a committee, we do feel the next step would be to put a request for an RFP out for an external firm to complete the search for our next superintendent. So this outside firm would be able to get community and faculty input on some of the core competencies that we're looking for in a superintendent, as well as it provides some confidentiality for candidates. So this is simply authorizing Dr. LaValva to put out an RFP for search firms to begin the process.
I think just for me to add on personnel, so with Dr. LaValva's decision to not renew his superintendent contract, we will also not only have to post for superintendent principal, but we will have to post for BA. The superintendent principal has to be the one that hires the BA, so we'll have a bit of a lag time that we'll need to talk through. So I will work with the law firm to go through with them exactly how this is all going to work, to understand what we need to do there, and come back to the board with options between December and January. We've got time because we have until the end of June, but need to figure out exactly how we're going to handle that, because until we hire the super, we really can't take the next steps on the BA portion. So I'll talk with, I forget, Jennifer. I'll talk with Jennifer at the firm and get a better handle on exactly what we need to do. So I'll be back in touch with everybody on that one.
Can I make one comment on this? A lot of people have approached me. Dr. Obama isn't leaving today or this
No.
week through the end of June. I know we all know that, but I've been approached by 5 or 6 people.
Yes, I know.
So
Everyone's panicking, as am I. No, I'm just no. So yes, through the end of June. All right. Okay, policy.
Yeah. Mr. Maxwell, Dr. LaValva, and I met last week. Tonight there are 2 policies up for first reading and 4 policies up for second reading and adoption. All 6 policies, as per usual, are linked on the website, so people can check those out. Also, during our meeting, we discussed the district's RFP process for professional services and how we typically approve professional services on a rolling multi-year schedule that keeps the district committed to a continuous evaluation of service providers. Dan, anything else to add? No.
Okay. All right. Liaison reports.
Boosters, the only thing they wanted to make sure I updated everyone was just continuing to send your kids to shoot-arounds on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
We are in peak basketball season. And from the foul shots that I saw at the CBA tournament, I'm calling out my son, he needs it.
Yeah. All right. PTA.
The PTA met. They wrapped up the kitchen tour, and they're preparing for the gift fair, which is on the agenda tonight, as a matter of fact.
Do we have how much they made at the kitchen tour?
I don't have that information available. I don't think they tallied it up yet either.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ready
I'm
yet.
looking at Superintendent Laval.
No, they haven't shared that number with me just
Right.
yet.
Okay.
They're
Thank
very
you.
optimistic.
It's early. It's early. Okay, Tiger Pack.
Yep, Emily Boucher reports the Tiger Pack hosted a fall social at Sun and Waves last Tuesday. That was a huge success. There were over 20 people there. And as Emily noted, including some dads, which was a big step and really nice to have them. There's plans for a parenting workshop in January, so more to come on that front. And they're still figuring out their book for the spring.
Okay. All right, and then anything new from SLED?
No report.
Okay. All right, on to you, Steve.
So acknowledgement from the administration. We'd like to thank our faculty for being available and all the parents who came to listen to the faculty and partner in sharing the success of their children through our parent-teacher conferences that were held on November 3rd and 4th. The Poppy Lady was here on November 11th. That's Veterans Day. She shared with the K through 5 students the value and need and the importance of remembering and honoring our veterans. K1 had their Friendsgiving Festival on 11/17. It was a Monday, and I thank Mrs. Roberts and Ms. O'Sullivan for opening the doors to the parents to join their children through our school day. It was a beautiful little assembly there and eats to follow. Enrichment, as Mrs. Martin noted, the enrichment catalog will be published just after the break. But prior to that, we will be asking the board's approval to post for the teachers who will teach the enrichment club. So we shared the list of clubs that have been interest gathered at this point. Public Works bench, I'd like to thank the Public Works for always being a partner with us. So what you may recall last month, I shared the anonymous gift of bench to honor Mr. Ben Deneen, who for many years gave his time to the children of Spring Lake. So I talked to the Public Works because the bench I had selected that was going to cost around $750. I showed it to the people who were interested in buying it, and they were thinking it would be a bench more like those that are on the boardwalk, not the metal one that's out there now that doesn't really meet their taste. So I called Brian Dempsey only to find out where it is that they purchased their benches, and he said they could sell us one because they have several left over from a big fundraiser they did. So he told me where they get their plaques and everything. So it'll be a bench that's more like the ones that we have throughout the town.
Oh, nice.
And on the boardwalk. And I do thank Public Works for working with us in that regard. Speaking of working with us, I also thank the boosters. Our field right now has suffered. We had a tremendous year of crabgrass growth. They came in and they rebuilt the field, but last summer was so hot that the new seed never took. The gentleman came out. He thought we could do it again at a reduced rate, $1,100. He did the field with deep seeding. And I approached the boosters about helping pay for that, and they offered to pay for the whole thing. So thank you for the boosters for helping us restore our field. And lastly, Mrs. Marcusfeld, our social studies teacher in the middle school, shared with me that she's been sharing her lessons with in celebration of the 250th anniversary of the U.S. I've been teaching about themes from the Declaration of Independence in my class. iCivics and the Bill of Rights Institute have been running the Civic Star Challenge to celebrate the teaching of these themes. Throughout the year, I've been submitting write-ups of lessons and activities that meet the themes found in the Declaration. I was selected as one of 63 educators from the U.S. to win the Civic Star Challenge. The school will be included in a national newsletter celebrating civic education and the 250th anniversary. They are sending her a swag box for the students, and she'll be honored at a breakfast at the national conference in December. She's very excited, as am I, and as are we.
Great. That's wonderful.
Congratulations to Ms. Marcusfeld in that.
I'm curious what's in the swag box
I
for
know, we all,
civic.
that's the question.
Right.
What is this swag?
What is the swag? All right. Yeah.
It might include an Uncle Sam costume for the board president.
Yeah, oh, great. That sounds delightful.
The enrollment, we're down one student from last month. Monthly HIB SSD, no new reports of SSD, and there is one ongoing investigation into HIB. Safety and security drills, we had a shelter in place on the 29th of October. We had a bus evacuation drill on November 13th, and we had a fire drill on November 17th.
All right. All right. Let's move on to approval of the minutes, please. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting and executive session on October 27th?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on that? All right. Go ahead.
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Mrs. Giblin?
I abstain. Okay, moving on to action items. So let's start with curriculum and instruction. Looks like we have A1 there. Can I get a motion for A1, please?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, questions, comments around A1? That looks like it's going to be fun. Medieval times, the outsiders.
Good
All
stuff.
good stuff. All right. Let's go ahead and vote.
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Mrs. Giblin?
Yes. All right, moving on to personnel, pretty big list there, B1 through B10. Steve, do you want to provide any context before we go through the motion?
Sure. B1 is our matrix of telling you guys who is going to be asking for some professional development prior to our next board meeting. So that list is all-inclusive, and I note the Mrs. Marcusfeld attendance at the National Council for Social Studies because we asked her to submit the mini grant to the PTA to cover registration fee, and then the board would cover travel and sustenance up to $836. The others are more the typical professional development experiences that we experience once a month. B2 and B3 are some tuition reimbursements for Ms. Lindsay Horowitz. B4 is a motion to approve Barbara Ann Villeneuve as a substitute. Ms. Elizabeth Capone as a home instructor. There are situations during which we need a home instructor to instruct a student at home during the school day, so we can't have our own faculty attend. We pay the same rate that's in the collective bargaining agreement with the association. So we contract Ms. Capone for that. The guidance counselor at a halftime of step 1 MA salary. B7 is a motion to authorize a reduction in force terminating one instructional assistant position effective December 12th or sooner. B8 are the enrichment experiences that Ms. Martin addressed earlier. B9 is a motion for you to accept my notice that I will not be seeking a new contract as your superintendent. And then B10 would authorize for us to go out and seek the firm that could assist you in finding successor superintendent. At this point, we would just be seeking the RFPs, and I would come back to you at the December meeting with what those RFP results are.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess, can I get a motion for B1 through B10? Sorry.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, questions on B1 through B10? Or on comments, whatever you got.
Just a question, just a clarification or a reminder. So B2, B3, again, we have a cap on tuition reimbursement,
That's correct.
and that just stays obviously within the max, the cap.
Correct.
We also do have terms in there about if they leave the school after receiving tuition reimbursement. So the contract does have stipulations for that as well. Just as a point of reference.
And just another comment, I love seeing that people take advantage of this. I know we have
Yeah,
another teacher.
yeah, it means they're developing themselves, and that means they bring more to the school, and that's wonderful. Any other questions or comments? On B9, that is part of what we have to do. Our obligation on the contract as well is to officially put it all in writing with Steve. So that one also addresses our duties under his existing superintendent BA contract. All right. When do we get the name of the guidance counselor?
Let's see, after the
What?
vote.
After the vote? All right. Okay, so B, I guess, any other questions or comments? All right, let's go.
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
And Mrs. Giblin?
Yes.
So Mrs. Heather Malcolm. Heather Malcolm, Ms. Malcolm is the
Okay.
name of the guidance counselor. Her credentials are in your folder, in your digital folder.
Yep.
We look forward to her. She's come very highly regarded. She did her preliminary work in Colts Neck. She's currently working in Brielle, and she'll be joining us.
Great. All right, thank you. All right, policies C1 through C4. Do you want to walk us through and then we'll make motions?
C1 is the motion referenced by Mr. Maxwell, the PTA asking to use the library for the holiday gift fair. C2, 4 policies that were talked about last month up for second reading and actual adoption tonight. C3 are the 2 policies up for first reading. One is related to concussions and head injuries. It follows the guidelines of the CDC. Ms. Koch was very helpful in developing this this policy. And the second policy is the budget preparation that ties to what the state has asked us to mandate.
Okay, great.
Does not change the schedule of the budget process. And then C4, so every year I meet with the police and I review our school safety and security plan. This year we extended that meeting to also include state representatives who came here on September 22nd. They've reviewed our plans, made some modifications, some changes, but our plan is a good one, and I have to submit an SOA that it was reviewed by the police, and it was on September 22nd.
All right, can I get a motion for C1 through C4?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, go ahead. I'll second it. All right, any questions or comments on C1 through C4? Okay,
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
And Mrs. Giblin?
yes. Okay, finance, you want to walk us through D1?
The board secretary and treasurer report for the month of October are ready and for review by the board. D2 is the motion to approve the bills list. D3, the payroll expenses. D4, an agreement with Kate Sullivan to provide the professional development referenced by Mrs. Martin. And D5 is a tuition agreement for a special education student.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion on D1 through D5?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments on D1 through D5? Okay,
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Mrs. Giblin?
yes. All right, public comments on non-agenda items. Yes, go ahead.
John Carr, 424 Monmouth Avenue. A couple months ago, I asked a question about the possibility of bus pooling for the 8th grade trip down to DC to reduce the cost, basically split the cost of the bus. And the answer was that other districts, the neighboring districts, weren't interested. So I overed the spending of the other districts for that, just to get an idea of what kind of money we're talking about. It's nothing compared to the district budget, but the numbers are pretty significant in terms of the fundraising. It looks to me like the possibility of saving $4,000 to $5,000 compared to our spending about $20,000 this past year. So what are the costs reduced by consolidating, sharing a bus, getting some services performed in DC? The tour guide, the guard, that would provide that level of savings by finding someone to share those costs. Now, it's nothing compared to our overall budget, I realize that, but it's funded by fundraising efforts. And if you look at it in terms of car washes, it's 2 or 3 car washes. You know, I think it would be something to continue pursuing, even though the other groups have not indicated, have not shown interest. I don't know if people are aware, you know, of these costs. Our costs are somewhat less than Seeger's. I always assumed we'd be the highest spender, but not always, I guess. So that's my statement. I have a question about the future amount study.
Mhm.
It seems like a lot of time has passed. I haven't seen anything, I haven't heard anything about the status of it, and I'm just wondering if something could be made public.
Yeah, we've had a couple meetings where we've publicly shared updates. I don't know if you were at all of those meetings or not. And I do not know exactly the dates of those meetings, so I would have to go back into the notes to tell you. But at this point, many of the ideas that were discussed are still being looked at. There's a couple things that Dr. LaValva is looking at that we're thinking of from a charter and ways to find other means of doing things in Spring Lake. We're not prepared to discuss those yet with the public. As soon as we get more behind that, we can. But no other updates outside of kind of taking those recommendations and trying to see what we can do with them.
I recall, I think I recall, there was supposed to be some sort of progress report in June. I'm not aware of that. Is there any projection of the finishing date for this project?
I mean, I think it's ongoing. I would never say that. I think it's something that we're in an ongoing conversation around, constantly doing it. If you're looking for like an output of a report from the meeting, I just haven't had time to get around to it. There's been other priorities within the district outside of me writing that up. So I'll work on trying to get that, but it's ongoing in my opinion, because it's something we're constantly looking at is what we can do to change and help the school and the children within it.
You're talking about the last time we met with the ad hoc.
That was not, no, I'm talking about the last, well, yes, not the last
I
time.
respect initially when you responded to Ms.
Yeah.
Clark, I know you were saying like, we addressed this in the meeting
Yeah,
here.
yes, yeah.
But when the recommendations you're referring to are
Yep.
from the last time.
The last time we met with
members of
them,
the public
yes,
were here.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Those are the recommendations.
And it was, I mean, I think it's fair to characterize that as a kind of like,
It was a lot of,
but it was a more like brainstorming on their
Yeah.
part.
yeah. But I think there were some good things that came out of it that we are looking at. I think we just need to be further along before we're ready to share details of what that could look like, because they're ideas at this point, and research that we're trying to do.
And I know we're not in new business yet, so I apologize, but maybe we should, at their next meeting or something,
Yeah,
convene some kind of finale to that.
yeah, we can.
Not in a,
Yeah.
I don't say.
No, I know what you're
that-
saying. We just haven't gotten to doing
Yeah,
the final, but it's a,
I don't mean that to be combative.
No, I know,
But
I
I
know.
think,
Yeah.
maybe there are some good ideas in
Yeah.
there, or at least, even if there's no actionable
we
thing
can,
that the people did want to participate,
yeah,
and, maybe try to reduce it to a short writing.
yeah. I'll also go back, and I can't remember the exact meeting dates where we shared publicly, but I'm sure it's in the meeting notes, and we can send you that.
Yeah, I'm not requesting a special report from you
Oh.
to satisfy me. I was just curious what the current status is and if there's any projected report date. Yeah, I assume there's going to be a written report at the conclusion of the study, and I was curious about.
We didn't really do a study. I mean, it was literally all parents and community members coming together and actively discussing ideas of things we could look at from a school perspective. So, I mean, we could summarize what those thoughts were and those different ideas were, and that's what the final report would be. It's not, we didn't do a study per se.
Is there going to be a formal report issued with some sort of conclusion?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
That's unknown.
Yeah, it's, I'll target it for January. It's just not top of my list with us working on replacing our entire administrative staff over the last couple months. It's kind of lower on the totem pole for me, just as priorities go.
And to sort of like, I think what Mr. Clark, is it fair, like, it's
Yeah.
probably not going to be as robust as the last one.
No, it's
based
not
on
at all.
what I
No.
witnessed. And I'm not saying that to be critical or anything.
It wasn't
like
that type of a,
It just didn't evolve that way,
No.
is that fair?
yeah, totally fair. Yeah, yeah,
And it is what it is.
yeah, yeah. We'll provide a report of all the ideas that were shared. That's what it will be. So.
Yeah, I wasn't asking, when we did it the first go-around, the committee issued a formal report. It wasn't, put upon any particular board member to do that. I assumed it would be similar this time.
The committee did not. I don't think we gained that sort of traction because it was a brainstorming session with lots of ideas, and so let's see what I do. We'll go from there.
And I mean, I'll comment on that. It did it's a little tough, it was, at the beginning, there was quite a few people, and there was some attrition, and what's the official position of the sort of, loose gathering of people who are interested to learn more about the school and the district? I don't know if there's it's a difficult thing to produce as a written finale.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep using that word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right? Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not the same as the last time. It's different. Is the best way to say it. But we'll have an output of the brainstorming. That's fine. Any other public comments on non-agenda items? Okay. New business. Dan, you brought up. What did you just say for new business?
I don't remember now.
You just referenced it.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
think-
right, yeah, future, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
right.
I was like, you tied it to new business, but I wasn't sure.
I didn't remember it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I did want to mention though, this draft Spring Lake Board of Education competitive contracting schedule that's in our folder.
That was mine, dude.
Since and it goes along with some of the policies we just discussed. I think the idea is, and I don't want to, if somebody else wants to comment, that, and it's consonant with these policies, to not have a stale sort of, you just keep hiring the same people, it's transparent to the public. And we did, and I think Mr. Rowe mentioned this, Superintendent Bava and Mr. Rowe and I, discussed a little bit in accordance with those policies, a schedule that Superintendent LaBella was smart enough, I guess, to find from Manasquan, using something similar. And I think the board should discuss this and define the contours of what that will be, these requests for proposals, these RFPs, I guess as soon as next meeting, what that will look like.
Yeah, I think we've done this before, so I didn't look to see how this differed from our process, like that calendar that we used to have that kind of calls out these things, of timing of when we did. And I know a couple meetings ago, we asked that question of, are we due for RFPs? So, I mean, this is part of a normal process for the board. So putting timing to it of when we want to do it, so it's always on the calendar to look at, is great. I don't know how this differs from what we already have on that calendar, Steve, but I mean, yeah, I think we just go through this process like we historically would, unless there's something different you guys think from an RFP perspective beyond the standard RFP we put out there.
Well, I guess I mentioned this last time, as it stands now, the plan is to just keep we'll have that January meeting and rehire everyone again. I mean, is that the general plan right now as board?
No, it doesn't have to be. I mean, we have an annual review process, and
Okay.
sometimes we decide that we don't need it. Sometimes we decide we
Right.
do need it. So we can have an RFP process that goes out and seeks guidance back. It's not,
Okay.
it's normal.
Right. So I guess it's the reason I asked is, it's November 24th. So if we're going to not re-up, so to speak, all those contracts in January, wouldn't we have to do something?
So in the past, that was driven by the request of the board to seek
RFPs.
an RFP. What this would do is tie us to these service providers on a rotating basis to be reviewed annually. So what I would ask of the board is to look at the sequence in which I put these, and I put them basically in order of longevity to the district, and decide what we're going to do. Now, the difference here would be that the current service provider, as long as they're willing, would continue to provide the service until June of the first three, the general labor, the school physician, and the banking services. Instead of appointing them for the full calendar year, next year, we would appoint them only until June while we're seeking other requests for proposals to decide what we'll do with those three. We would appoint the architect, the engineer, the treasurer, the auditor, the brokers for the full 12 months as we've done in the past.
Yeah.
And just to sort of, you're suggesting,
Yes.
Superintendent LaValla, to marry it to the June process, so the current professionals in that list would serve really through the end of the school year.
For the
Try to help
first
of
three.
Continuity, whatever, but then in June, that's when,
We have to renew those three.
got it. And that would we need a motion to do that?
Of course,
Yeah.
yes.
And so that's on for the next agenda,
We
basically.
need a motion
For
to
this schedule.
approve this schedule, and that would be, Manasquan does it at their reorganization meeting in January, which makes sense. We could do it in December if you wanted to do it
Right.
prior to that meeting, but if you like the procedure and you like the order in which the service providers are in, then I think it could move from a draft to an actual
And
adoption.
most importantly, this is for the edification of any potential new members who might be watching tonight. So,
Correct.
I think if we do it in January, that aligns better. We make all the calendars in January with the new board, so
okay.
it makes
I
sense
just,
to me that,
these questions
Yeah.
were just to see how this
Okay.
yeah.
process.
We've done it a couple times. I feel like we've done it every other year right now on some of them, and every year on a couple of them. I'd have to go back though, because I know we've been through, Mike and I have been through a couple of them now.
Well, that was most recent.
Yeah. So, okay. So I think, do you want to vote? We could vote on this.
No, this is just for you as new business to be aware that this would be the procedure that we would ask to follow and to vote on this contracting schedule in January.
And then in January, you would go out for RFP then
And
on,
I would, in
okay.
the spring, go out for the RFPs, appoint the person in June for 6 months.
Would it be
Right.
6
In the
months,
first
or would it be 12 months?
No, they would only go for the 6 months to be getting to the next January.
You-
And then it'd be the,
12 months?
no, because then it would throw off this schedule.
Well, I guess my point, and I think this is where he was going, was similar to what we just did with the benefits program.
Right,
Where
so,
we're now on the budget year. When we go out for an RFP for these three, if
Right.
those are the ones we choose and the board approves in January, that's the ones we're going to look for
Mhm.
start July 1st. Can we approve them for 12 months that gets you to next June 30th? And then every time we actually approve that, it's not the board coming in. I think his question and issue is that you're a brand new board member, you're sitting here for 2 days.
Right.
You're sworn in.
Right.
And you're approving a contract.
Yeah, there's a lot of that happens.
So why not follow what you said?
10
Go
minutes.
go in January, have the new board approve this schedule, have the new board approve the 6 month for the top group, the 12 month for everybody.
mhm.
And then when we actually agree on who those new vendors are, or the same old vendors, sorry, not same old, the same vendors, not old. That's what we can prove them for 12 months and actually just get on the same cycle as our budget. Is that a possibility?
I think you can approve them at either January or June.
Right, so I think what you're hearing from two board members
Is
is,
that you like the June?
I like that, it actually made a whole lot of sense with the benefits as well. When we
Right.
budget on a year, make our budget a little bit, sure,
Easier.
there's a lot of things in our budget when we look at it.
Mhm.
We're taking, it's a guide, as I've said many times, and we're
Yep.
taking our best shot at getting to those. Having the surety with the benefits makes a whole lot of sense that we're not guessing. which we do sometimes because we don't know the absolute right number, and
Right.
there's still going to be some
Yeah.
best guess estimates. But then you're actually aligning the two pieces, and I think that makes a whole lot of sense. And I think that's, and then you don't have a new board coming in January approving for 12 months in January, and I think that's really cool.
And I would also say, it's not, in addition to the financial budgeting benefits, it's also the school year. So it might be cumbersome to change horses for legal counsel in the middle of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you have an attorney jumping in. You know, it has a sort of flow, a school year, where yeah, so I think in addition to the advantages budgeting wise, it also makes to me the most logical sense of, well, this happened this year, maybe, I don't know, this, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, you know, we weren't so happy with the architect, so, and, you know, yeah.
Okay.
Good, so I'll make those notes on this competitive contracting schedule, and we'll bring it back in December for another review and in January adoption.
And if someone of them doesn't want a 6-month contract or January,
Yeah, 6 months.
and then you just RFP it then. I mean, you know.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I have one more item for new business. So since we're going to be in the midst of hiring a super principal and a BA, and we've hired a couple other roles, it caused me to spend some time looking at our contracts of employment and kind of employment verification. And one of the things that's noted in there is this conduct unbecoming. And it's in several of our policies. 2 of them were examples I'll cite are 3281 and 4281. I would like the policy committee to maybe look at that conduct unbecoming. It's very vague. I think, and I don't know right or wrong, I think it warrants taking a look at that and defining that more closely. In some cases, we do define it really well. In other cases, we don't. I think it's worth looking at. The current, like what NJSA has is 18A, paragraphs 6 through 7. If you look at what they read for conduct unbecoming, it's just very vague. So I think it'd be worth taking a look at since we're looking at some of our since we're looking to hire. So if I could ask the policy committee to look at that.
I'm sorry, what reference numbers? So
It's, so our 2 policies where it's cited is 3281 and 4281, and there were a couple more when I kind of just Googled the term conduct unbecoming. But the NJSA's is 18A-6 through 7. Hopefully I wrote that down right. And it has the framework. So if policy could just take a look at that and see if there's anything you want to either expand upon there or detail out more, that would be great.
And that's in terms of, because we're hiring new administrators.
Yeah, and it caused me to start looking at stuff, you know, when you're kind of hiring, it opens the door to like, okay, what do we have? What are we looking for type thing? And as I was reading through it, it was pretty clear. That was the only one that I'm like, well, what does this mean? That could mean a lot of things. And so I think putting some tighter frameworks around that might be warranted, but I'll let the policy committee take a look and give me your thoughts, because maybe it being open is a better thing than it being closed. Like you can make arguments for either one, so
Yeah, we'll take a look.
take a look.
Yep.
Yeah.
And maybe the regulation has a definition.
So that's what it was kind of, the regulation wasn't very strong.
Okay.
So, and I also think maybe the standards we want to hold to are higher than what the rest of the New Jersey does. So I just think it's worth looking at, because it really just ties back to New Jersey. And some of the things that I saw that New Jersey does, I wouldn't necessarily agree with on principle as being allowed. So I would take a look at it.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Just more policy. I know you guys love it, so. All right, that was all I had for new business. Anyone else for new business? We covered yours. Okay. All right, so we are going to be stepping into executive session where we're discussing student matters and matters involving employees in terms of their employment status. Are we taking a vote after this?
No.
No, there will be no vote after this, so, can I get a motion to move into executive session?
Motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Gonna roll call when you're ready.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell,
Yes.
Mr. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Rowe,
Yes.
Mrs. Giblin.
Yes. You're welcome to wait outside. We're staying in here, right?
We could go across the hall.
What do you want to do?
Let's go across the hall.
Okay, you guys can stay in here. We're going across the hall, so you're welcome to stay in here if you want.